Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now.
Absolutely certain, because today we have Sari Parkinson, and I'm going to love talking to her about metabolic health. What is that? We've talked about nutrition, we've talked about wellness, we've talked about alternative options in eating, but what is metabolic? It goes down to the cellular level. And that's what we need to concern ourselves with. I'm thinking, because we've touched the surface. We've got to go deep, brains, so that we can change the genomics and the genetics and the DNA, hopefully to stop all this, trauma with food and dis-ease that turns into disease. How to get our head around it. It's not easy. It takes work, and it's a lifestyle change. So we're going to talk to Sari about that and so much more. Welcome to the Edge. How are you?
Oh, hi, April. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm great.
Great. Okay. Well, I love great.
Yeah.
Tell my brains how you show up in the world and what you do.
Well, how I show up in the world. I help people, especially middle-aged ladies, reclaim their health through diet and lifestyle coaching. And in particular, I'm really passionate about reversing the chronic disease that we all sort of end up confronted with as we age. Because even though we're all living longer, not all of us end up with a great health span. Despite we all know to eat well and exercise more, but more and more of us are ending up with diabetes and Alzheimer's disease, cancer, cardiovascular disease. These are all increasing, yet we all know what we're supposed to do. So,
And losing your hair.
oh, yeah, wow, that too.
Yeah,
Uh,
it gets
yeah,
thinner. It gets thinner. So,
yours doesn't look like it is.
because I bought it.
Oh,
No, I mean, my afro used to be out here and now it's about this big. But it's a part of the cycle. It's a part of the evolution. I mean, I came here bald. So
yeah, that's so true.
going out bald is not going to be it's not going to be a big issue for me, but it's a lot of self-esteem issues and a lot of things that you talked about, the diseases that we are experiencing. I'm hearing more and more that is internal. It is also the mindset, it's trauma, it's other things that we've been through, not just necessarily our diet. When a woman turns a particular age, and for some reason, I don't know why it was 40. 40 for me, I had a meltdown. 50, I felt rejuvenated, and 60, I feel free.
Wow.
But
Fabulous.
it's settling into that and it's growing into that maturity, and it takes a lot of work. How do you help your clients through your coaching and mentorship?
Well, I guess that I try to help them prioritize what is important to them in terms of their own idea of what health and wellness is. So it's not about me sort of prescribing what I think they should do. Obviously, the science is there to give us direction, but I want my clients to sort of have their own direction for where they want to go with their health, and it's my job to sort of walk alongside them to get them there.
The first things that people say is, oh, okay, well, I want to lose weight. Well, at a certain point in life, it's a little bit more difficult. You want to be, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor, but you want to be healthy. You want to be strong. You want to be able to walk at least a city block.
Yeah.
Have a regular bowel movement. You want to be able to deal with the changes that your body goes through mentally, physically, spiritually when you go through the menopause. Because there's no
Mm,
pausing in that. Okay. That's a straight shot there.
yeah.
So as you look at all these different dynamics for all these different women, what are some suggestions that you may give us to just kind of start to clear the slate and rebuild or build upon what is already existing?
Well, I think what you said earlier about, making sure that you can walk a certain distance and have this good health. Um, One of the key things is that as we age, we just naturally lose muscle. So I reckon one of the key things is actually building muscle, continuing to use it, like use it or lose it. Whether you're just lifting the cans in the kitchen or doing some planks or anything simple at home, just doing anything to keep your muscle there. Because the more muscle you get, the faster your metabolism is when you're at sleep, you burn more calories, you have less falls as you age. That's definitely one of the keys there. And the other thing is really to watch your blood sugar. So every time we sort of carbohydrates or it sugars, your blood sugar spikes, we have to release insulin. And the more that this goes on, the less good we are at dealing with it. And that
Definition of what metabolic nutrition is.
So there is something called metabolic syndrome. So this is what many of us, without really knowing, especially when we reach middle age and we might have a bit more weight around us and it's harder to lose weight. So metabolic syndrome is a combination of 5 things. It's high blood pressure, it's high triglycerides, it's low HDL cholesterol, a little bit of weight around your tummy, and insulin resistance. And when you've got a combination of these things, you're looking at a much greater risk of chronic disease as you age. So keeping all those things.
Well, hell, you ticked off the boxes for everybody I know.
And also, I don't often realize. So I had a few years back had this massive big growth in my uterus. It was about this big, like a big, rock melon.
Wow.
We didn't know if it was cancer or not. So many women, end up with fibroids. My periods were so heavy that I literally could not leave the house. I couldn't work on those days. And this is actually, turns out, one of the sort of symptoms of having, this constant high blood sugar. So it can affect us in sort of many ways, little skin tags that you get all over you, things like that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I for me, just cutting out the carbs just really helped with so many things.
I know, but carbs I thought they were my friends. I'm trying new carbs.
Oh, which carbs are they?
Well, I'm trying to change them. So, now I'll do a yellow rice or I'll use a jasmine rice and I will have less, but I love rice. I love potato. Yeah. So instead of having a white russet potato, I'll have a sweet potato. I'm trying to get turned on to these purple potatoes.
Right.
And I will have less. Bread, me and bread, I love it.
Me
so
too.
what I do is I don't deprive myself, but I'll have one piece because I was finding I was having 5 to 6 pieces of bread a day.
It is so more.
Yeah, well, you have 2 pieces when you have an English muffin or you have a piece of toast, then you have 2 pieces when you have lunch, then you have a dinner roll. You don't really think about that unless you do a food journal. And a food journal, I can't emphasize enough, is it's an eye opener. One day, Sari, I did a food journal, and I'm embarrassed to say, do you know how many things I put in my mouth?
I'd love to know.
5.
Yeah, but it could be 45 things that are actually really good for you, or it might be.
Well, they weren't.
5.
They weren't, but I mean, 45, even that is an excess. I don't need that. And I was counting like, okay, I had a cup of coffee, but then I'd have a piece of candy or I'd have a cookie. But I mean, I just kept doing that hand to mouth. And that's very dangerous. How do we break the habit? How do we really kind of look at it, assess it, and say, you know what, let me pump my brakes?
2 things. First of all, we all need to acknowledge that change is really messy and that we're not going to be able to instantly, you're not going to be able to go from having 45 yummy things in one day to like 3 days later. So not to be hard on yourself when you're trying to make changes to your diet. And you should be totally congratulated on reducing the amount of carbs you have. And lots of things can be carbs that we don't even think of, like an apple, or there's still carbohydrate. A lot of, whether it's fructose, or whether it's the carbs in bread, it still turns into glucose in our body. So the other thing is, so change is messy, but it's not any of our fault that we can't stop eating this stuff because it tastes so good. But in addition to that, when we eat it, it spikes our blood sugar. You get this little high, you get this rush of energy. It hits your dopamine receptors in your brain, and then your sugar plummets. And so your body's going, oh, you've got to get some more, you've got to get some more, because we've got to be sort of at this even keel all the time. So this is the thing with carbs. It's actually makes you want to crave them. And everything in our food is designed to make us. So if you keep it really natural, that's less likely to happen.
What else too is watching television.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched the television, and every commercial was food oriented. Cheesy,
Yeah.
creamy, saucy, convenient to go and get. Oh, how wonderful it is. I mean, people are drooling and all that. And it's the psychology. It is the psychology. So you have to really talk to yourself. That's what I do. I talk to my plate now. And I say,
Yeah.
you know what? And instead of a plate, I've started eating in a bowl.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason is portion control. Your stomach is only this big, but this is how much you put in. You're compressing it, you're suppressing it, you're not eliminating all of it. All of it is not healthy. I am not the person to be a vegetarian. And I have to also, I love fish, but you have to watch that too, because that will wreak havoc on your cholesterol. People don't.
Wow.
Yeah, people really don't realize that.
But is cholesterol really that bad? Do you know that the studies show that those people that live the longest, and I'm no doctor, but they have the highest cholesterol. So, and even this good and bad cholesterol, it's not really as simple as that. One of the keys is keeping your triglycerides down. So I'm not a biochemist either, but if you keep your triglycerides as low as possible, you'll be doing a lot to look after your health. So when you don't
do that, how do you keep your triglycerides?
Yeah, keep your diet as sort of whole as possible. So if you're going around and getting things that have been processed and they've had oils mixed in with them, so even if you even a rice cracker, you think, oh, it's just a rice cracker, sometimes it's got some emulsifiers and oils in it, and those things can increase your triglycerides. But if you're eating things as close to how they were when they were grown in nature, that's best. But can I just, with your point of your stomach's small and we can't, and that we don't need to eat continuously, an interesting thing is that when you eat protein and fat and not the carbs, you will get to a point where literally you go, oh my gosh, I can't eat anything else. So if you were to put 2 steaks on your plate, or lamb chops, and you just sat down to eat that, unlike with sort of carbs and things and salads and yummy stuff,
Right.
You'll get to a point with that where you literally can't put another, a spoonful in your mouth. Whereas with all the sugars, with all the sweet stuff, and even if it's not sugars, even if it's just sort of like a Thai salad, but it's got the brown sugar and it's got all that yummy stuff, you could just keep eating it.
Right. Oh, yes. Because it's good to the palate, but your palate will change as well. You won't require that. It'll be like, I know I was watching my mother as she transitioned, and I was looking at the things that she extracted. My mother loved sweets. Oh my goodness, ice cream, cookies, cakes. That was her thing. And it got to the point where she said, it starts to sting my tongue, baby. She says, I don't want that.
Really?
And she could tell, here in the United States is the food, I believe, is really an impactor. In other countries, it's more farm to table. Here, it is come out of, come out of your mother. There, let me inject you with some antibiotics. Let me inject you with some steroids so that you grow quick, fat, plump. Then we'll kill you. Then we'll leave you there for 5 or 6 days. Then we'll send you to the packing company. Then we'll send you to somebody's house. Then we'll freeze you. Then we'll cook you. Then we'll eat you. So it's, that's a whole month and a half, and the cycle repeats itself. And so we don't pay attention to that. I always get on this thing about packaging, fat free, salt free, gluten free. That's a marketing strategy too. How
Yes.
free is it? There has to be some sort of preservatives. I'm really now looking at reading labels, and my
Right.
pantry is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, instead of getting canned vegetables, I get frozen vegetables. Uh,
Yeah.
Instead of getting packaged gravies, I make my own gravy. I made some gravy today, girl. It was
Oh,
really good.
that's good.
But I still, there's like cornbread. I just absolutely
Um,
love it. So what I have to learn is to eat that in moderation. So
yeah, exactly.
did you have a weight concern or health concern that
Oh,
sent you in this direction?
yeah, I've had a few over the years. I mean, ever since I was sort of young, I tended to put on weight pretty easily. So I was through high school, I was one of those sort of people always cutting calories and telling myself not to eat fat and stuff like that. And then I've always had to manage my weight, but when I got into my mid 40s, I just put on weight and I couldn't shift what worked for me before, which was just, oh, I'm just going to cut out lots of food. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to exercise more. That was not working. So I had to do this massive, big, deep dive. And then I did finally lose sort of 17 kilos, and I've now kept it off pretty effortlessly. So, but also I had a lot of absorption problems with B12, and I was getting brain fog. And like, it's when you're low in B12, it's a bit like having dementia. So you sometimes say the wrong word. So that I was having, monthly B12 injections and constant assessments with that. But in the end, I removed some things from my diet and now I can absorb it well.
Well, some of my friends here go down to Mexico and they get the B12, and they say they feel fabulous and they lose the weight because it's speeding up
Right.
metabolism.
Yeah.
But
Well,
my
I don't
thing
know about
is,
that, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. See, so I've heard that the shots into you, that's not quite necessarily the same natural B12 as if you're
oh,
getting
I'm
it.
sure it's not. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not. But we talked about hair. We talked about skin. We have to talk about our teeth. We have to talk about our hearing and
Oh,
and
hearing.
blood pressure.
Yes,
Stress will affect things that you don't even realize, and sometimes you don't even realize how stressed you truly are
that's right.
because you're on automatic.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I had the best day. I
Really?
took my yoga mat out to the beach, and I went out there with some great music, and I sat out there and I walked on the sand, and I dug my feet down as far as they could go. And I just had a great meditation. And when I came home, I know that it reduced so much electromagnetic fields from my body because my feet are
Really?
still tingling from the extraction of that. I got some fresh seaweed from the sea. I
Did
came
you?
home. I ground it up and I put it in my plants. That is a natural fertilizer like no other.
Yeah, totally.
And I came home and I slept. I think I slept almost the whole day. So it's self care. It's like, it's a blessing to be able to live in a beautiful place like you live or I live, and to go and enjoy outdoors. It's a beautiful thing to be able to get up in the morning and open your eyes and walk and sing and look at yourself and have that I am conversation. There's so many things that we can do, and all these things connect at a cellular level. Wouldn't you agree, Sari?
Oh, I totally agree. And, the things like getting in natural daylight, like I believe that we as humans are given this body for a certain reason, that every part of us is designed in a certain way for a certain reason. So getting the sunlight into your eyes, into the receptors into your eyes, that sends a message to every other cell in your brain and body. And there's all these downstream effects. And so similarly, when you put your feet onto the sand or onto the grass, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I also believe that while science is amazing and it's informed us in so many ways, there is so much that we still don't know, we're still learning. So a lot of good stuff that we instinctively know works for us and feels better, like time in nature and standing with bare feet. Sometimes there's just not the science yet that's there to really show us what's happening, but if it feels good.
It was so good because it was a stabilizer. I mean, I didn't feel, you know how when you're doing a yoga pose or whatever, you get wobbly. I wasn't wobbly. I was embedded in the earth and the
Fabulous.
sand. And I'm telling you, it was mind blowing. I was like, I should go out there again today, but then I didn't want to be greedy.
Oh, no, but you see, I think, like it's abundant. It's endless. This is the natural flow of energy in the world. And, like if I haven't been outside and put my bare feet on the grass, but for me, somehow grass is, the real key. But even in terms of your posture as you age, you get so much feedback through your feet and through your body. And even if we practice things that we used to do as infants, like crawling or getting on our hands and knees, just crawling a little bit and reaching up to a table, we're sort of reinstilling a lot of those neural pathways and that, we sort of have forgotten about.
Well, this was funny and it
Uh,
was childlike.
yeah.
I was with some kids and I needed a massage. And they
Oh,
said, oh, come on, Miss April, come roll down the hill with us. I said, roll down the hill with you. Do you know I laid down there and rolled down the hill and my body felt like it had been realigned.
I know. And we just don't play enough as adults. Like we're sort of, and the school system, I mean, yes, they sort of have sport in there. I mean, that's why I love these sort of, schools in the bush idea. But we're just, it's school, they teach us from the age of 3 or 4, we're going to sit at the desk now and do this. So
Right. And that's what we do all day is sit at the desk. I bought a little peddler.
ah,
When I'm editing, at least I'm still moving
right.
because everything gets, it gets stuck and combobulated and you get inflammation.
Good tip. I
Inf-
haven't heard that.
yeah. Inflammation is the sign of problems. And
Yep.
we only think of inflammation when we look at that belly fat or the chin or up under here, this, that, and the other. But you don't realize what is really swollen inside of your body.
And people can have this weight and not be inflamed. And it is possible to be metabolically healthy and to have a little bit more coverage. Some people can have interior well-being and really good health, even if they've got more flesh on them.
So, Sari, what do your clients have to look forward to as they work with you?
I think it's really about as I said before, following their own goals for their health and doing it step by step with support where they don't, you've got to take the pressure out and you've really got to find what the reason for doing something is. And once you know your why and you've got a vision of what your future can be. So if you have the vision that your future could be playing with your grandchildren, dying peacefully in your bed at the grand old age of, like 99, versus living in hospital, unable to breathe, on drips. Yeah.
But
That's
also stimulating your mind, activating your mind, keeping it busy, listening
great
on
sex
tape.
April, all women. And this story that we sort of can't that as you get past a certain age you don't like sex anymore, or that you don't
Shoot,
need
are you
that.
kidding me? I think my libido got ramped up.
Exactly. But like mainstream medicine over the decades, where it's been sort of male dominated, they'll have us believe that older women, like either in the dating world, it's fact some men avoid dating older women because they think we're not up for it.
Well, they're missing a treat because this is experience. It may not be the rodeo that you once rode on, but let me tell you, it's a luxury ride, baby. So don't get yourself confused. Don't because
Yeah.
a mature woman knows what she wants. We're
Yeah.
creative. We're innovative. It's not the same thing. Even I have a couple of friends of mine in their 80s, and
Yeah.
she said that sex is amazing. She
Mm.
said it may not be the traditional way that people thought, but it's the intimacy. Sex and the orgasm is in the mind. So I'm glad
Mm.
that you brought that up because there's no shame in that. And there's so many women that have been deprived and depriving themselves of, what God wants us to have, and that's pleasure. Now, there's been trauma, there's been abuse. I get all of that, but that's not going to always be the situation. Self
No,
gratification, there's absolutely nothing wrong with self gratification either. If you
no.
don't know how to turn the blender on, it ain't going to never work.
I just think also, like I was saying before, we're designed. And when you have an orgasm, I think what science hasn't really shown yet, but like meditation, where science is giving us evidence, I believe that an orgasm is really good for us at a cellular level.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
the way you can feel like the things it does to you that are sort of almost inexplicable, when you've got that sort of energy coursing through every cell. So that's another thing that I like to do with the ladies that I see, is sort of look at every aspect of their well-being, not just their diet or weight loss or anything like that.
Right. And, their finances. People don't realize how that thing called money can just ruin everything for you.
Stress, yeah,
So, yeah.
money,
So
stress.
stress, money, relationships. You lie to your partner, you hide, you sneak. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror, take in the reflection, and make the correction. So let's ask you some fun questions, Sari.
Okay. Oh, I'm not used to being put on the spot. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to put the spotlight on you. If you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be and why?
Well, all I can think of is my cast iron pan because it cooks my steak, and I just love it, and it's hot, and it's strong, and it's solid and fiery.
Well, go on with yourself. Strong, hot, and solid. I think I'd be the refrigerator.
Oh,
Cool out
cool.
and chill.
Oh, nice.
If you were a flower in the garden,
Oh,
what flower would you be?
well, you see, my favorites just keep coming to mind. So my favorite is a freesia, and it's just really potent, and the perfume is really, really strong. It's not probably the most beautiful, but it's wild, and it just pops up when you least expect it.
All
And
right.
for a short amount of time. So you've really got to sort of appreciate it while it's around.
Yeah. like a good man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you were a car, what car would you be?
Ooh. Oh gosh, I'm not really good with my cars. Well, I drive a really boring, solid, trusty big vehicle. What would I drive if I were a car? Uh, A vintage, something 1960s.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm sorry with my models, I can't.
Corvette, a Jaguar, something
Yeah,
sleek.
Jaguar. Oh yeah, like a Jaguar. That'd be good. Like
Yeah,
yeah, Bristol green maybe. Something a bit classic or cream.
exactly. If you were an
Basically.
animal, what animal would you be?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I have no idea. Hmm. Horse?
The horse? Why? You like horses?
Oh, well, I do like horses. They're tall, like me, and they're quite strong. They're a lot more elegant and graceful than I am, but they're sort of very reliable, and they're very stoic, and we wouldn't have got anywhere in the society without horses
No,
at the
we wouldn't.
ages.
No,
Mm.
we wouldn't.
And they're very kind and compassionate, and they yeah, and they're really mistreated a lot, but
Yeah.
they still strive to sort of serve, really.
Well, I'd be the party animal.
Yeah,
I want to rock out. Absolutely. And in
yeah.
closing, Sari, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be remembered for and to whom and
Oh,
for what?
well, as a speechy, I know, and I hope that a lot of those kids that I used to work with to help with their literacy, I just hope that they can remember me for boosting their self-esteem when they didn't, really have that. And I would love to have changed people's health trajectory so that they can live a strong, long life. Because there's only small tweaks you have to take to really improve your health, and it's not that complicated, and you just need the right support.
Yeah, and you need to be disciplined. That's
Mm.
me.
But it's hard to you need a bit, so but that's where the coaching comes in, because you need some support, bit of accountability, being reminded what your goal is, where you want to be.
Absolutely. Well, I think that you are absolutely fantastic. You are wild and free and strong and sleek and thin and just a wonderful, wonderful human being. Thank you for your dedication to
Thanks,
everyone
April.
that you serve. It's very important, Brains, that we've got to take it back, and we can do that. We can do that. You know, in the United States, I still say we've got a problem. We've got an obesity epidemic all the way down to your children. And what scares me mostly is that children don't even want to try. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. You haven't even let it touch your palate. So be creative with your children. Grow a garden. Help take them with you, and don't just put the device in front of your face. Tell them, look, all of these things. What could we try? Let's try a new recipe. Bring them in the kitchen. That way you can teach them mathematics. And food and eating is a meditation. Be good to yourself. Thank you so much, Sari. I appreciate you. Brains.
Oh, pleasure. Thanks, April.
Let me turn it right side up. Thank you so much, Brains. I need you to go in and love, like, share, and subscribe. Love, like, share, and subscribe. Take note to those 5 things that Sari said as to really what metabolic health is, because those are things that the doctor is going to give you a test for immediately, all the time. Pay attention to those numbers so that you can live a long, productive life. Thank you. Have a good day, Brains.
Thank you. Bye.